We don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose HailGuard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. HailGuard shingles. Built for hail.
Hey crew, Matt Meister, Peaks to Plains weather here, 3:45, and we took a little bit of a break so I could update some forecast things to run on the channel through the evening. But we're going to take a deep dive here and probably be together for at least the next hour or so as storms get set to roll across the metro areas. You can join me live. If you put one of these links into a browser, you give permission for your camera and microphone, you can come on here with Peaks to Plains weather and give me a report. Take your phone outside, show me what has happened. If you are in an area where a storm has already moved through and it's safe, maybe you're under the eave of the house, you're looking outside, this is Peaks to Plains weather, our weather together, and that's how you can do that and join me. You should put these into your contacts on your phone for Peaks to Plains weather. Let's jump into our coverage though, and Tamco Building Products makes our storm coverage possible here on Peaks to Plains weather. Their HailGuard shingles beyond Class 4, the only Class 4 rated shingle on the market. And I am going to start off this afternoon looking at the storms rolling over the Colorado Springs area from the Broadmoor's Cloud Camp. And here's what we've got. A severe thunderstorm watch is up for the Palmer Divide in northeast Colorado until 8 o'clock this evening, but we have had our own share of severe thunderstorms across the Pikes Peak region. We've got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings right now and a cluster of flood warnings. One of them includes the northern parts of the Aspen Acres burn. So I am going to begin on what is the most immediate risk here. 2 things. The flash flood. This is a new warning for the heart of Custer County. It includes West Cliff. It includes Silver Cliff. It includes Rosita. And one also includes the northern parts of the Aspen Acres Fire. That's the farthest east of these warnings. Storms today have been putting down rain at between 1 and 2 inches, and some of the storms have been dropping more than 2 inches of rain. So let's get the timing on these on these flash flood warnings here. The Aspen Acres Fire is until 6:30. The flash flood warning for Custer County is in effect until 6:45. And we had one that was issued a while ago. This includes southern parts of Fremont County. That one in effect just to the south of Highway 50 until 6 o'clock. These storms are making a run right toward the Aspen Acres Fire. So although we've got one cell over northern parts of the fire right now, the fire is going to be impacted by this over the next hour. Let's come off to the north here. Storms rolling across Colorado Springs. A couple of flash flood warnings for where these storms were earlier. Northwestern El Paso County and northern Teller County. And the first flash flood warning of the day is for southeastern Douglas County and southwestern Elbert County. That one continues here for another hour or so. That one I think was going until 4:30 this afternoon. The flash flood warning a little bit farther to the west until 5:45. The strongest storm in the area right now is located right along Highway 94, right around Yoder, kind of right between Ellicott and Rush. And this storm has produced some 58 mile per hour wind as it was moving across the Calhan area. And I still don't have any reports from what I have seen from my friends at the Weather Service of any large hail with that. I do see the wind gust report that came in. But this storm could be still producing some hail between 1 inch and 1.5 inches in diameter. Again, right along Highway 94. And you can see that there have been 2 thunderstorms that have run into each other. When I was doing my last update, I was talking about this and how when there's been a couple of thunderstorm updrafts that have run into each other today. And when that happens, the storms tend to intensify a little bit. And that's what we've been watching with this storm over eastern El Paso County. So let me stop the motion of it now and let's do some analysis on this storm. First, the heavy rain with it. We're going to get more than an inch of rain in this area. We've seen that with this cluster across northeastern El Paso County this afternoon. So let's look at the current hail possibilities with it. And we do have the potential for some large hail that we are analyzing with the computer. This is doing a couple of different things. It's looking at the reflectivity up inside the storm. It's doing a look at the sizes of precipitation in the X and Y axis, because where we can get an indication of hail when we do that. And there may be some hail, maybe a little bit bigger than 1.5 inches in diameter right now. One of the other ways that we can look at that hail potential is by looking at what we call the vertically integrated liquid. And you can see when we get up into these pink colors, that's when we have potential for severe hail. That's kind of right in the heart of where the severe thunderstorm warning is. And another thing I like to do is look at how high into the atmosphere the echo of the radar is. And this is actually our highest of the day that we have measured with the radar in northeast Pueblo County. TAMCO Live radar indicating that we're up around 60,000 feet off to the northwest of Rush. So all of those things indicate here that we have a severe thunderstorm that is ongoing. And you can see over the northeastern part of the county here, where we've got these bright greens, that's where we've had more than 1 inch of rain. So this flash flood warning, more than 2 inches of rain. In fact, the darkest greens, more than 3 inches of rain. Another cluster of over 2 inches of rain. And then we are seeing where this storm just was a little bit ago, more than 1 inch of rain has fallen. And so the areas getting the storm right now along Highway 94 will see that it kind of lags behind a little bit, but we will see that kind of catch up, that radar analysis of how much rain has fallen. The wind with this storm has picked up as well. In fact, to the south of the core now, we are picking up some wind speed moving toward the Pueblo radar between 50 and 65 miles per hour. This is in the vicinity of Yoder on Highway 94 and off to the south of there. I'm going to loop this over the last 30 minutes. I might need to slow it down a little bit. Let's do that here. But you can see where these blues are from the radar analysis. So strong wind has come with this storm, kind of moving to the south here. And that outflow boundary is going to move into the Pueblo area and kind of time out with some storms coming in from the west. We'll get to that here in a second. But as I said, this is the strongest storm that we've got out there this afternoon. So the strongest wind is out ahead of where the heaviest rain and the hail is, and that's all moving to the south. So Truckton heads up. You're probably seeing the wind pick up right now. Parts of southeastern El Paso County. Actually, here's the outflow boundary with this cell. So the wind picks up kind of as this moves through. This thing's moving to the south and is going to meet up with the storms coming out of Fremont County. So Pueblo, in the next couple of hours, these two things are going to meet up kind of overhead and bring us our chance of storms for the day. And all of this storm activity is going to roll off to the east through the evening. So we aren't done with the strong storms and the threat of some severe weather. All right, let me come back to the flash flood threat that we've got going off to the southwest of Pueblo. Here we are looking at, this is just over the last 3 hours. Let me look at the last hour of accumulation because this calculates a little bit quicker. In fact, let me go to my Aspen Acres Fire mapping system here where we can look at all of the different drainages and everything. So this flash flood warning is on the north end of the fire. So this is off to the southeast of Greenwood and Wetmore. I'll take the radar off real quick so you can get oriented with where the burn is. The edge of the fire is illuminated in pink here. In fact, I'm going to change that color for the time being, and I am going to make it, I think, a bright white. May work here with what we've got going on the radar. So hopefully that helps jump out a little bit more to you. The county line is also in white. So, in fact, let me do a blue now that I'm thinking about it. Let me do kind of a cyan colored here. There you go. Maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, so this is where the heaviest rain is right now, and it's on the north end of the burn. You can see that there are stronger cells or updraft cores off to the west, and those are gradually moving east here. So let me show you the last 30 minutes. Let me go back about an hour. Change my mind here. Got to give me that kind of wiggle room when I'm doing this analysis in real time together. So these storms have produced between 1 and 2 inches of rain and are gradually inching eastward toward the fire. Well, this might end up being one of our more serious situations that we have had here with the Aspen Acres Fire thus far. So we're going to keep a really, really close eye on this as we move through the next hour or so. So now I want to drill down on some of the drainages that are going to be impacted by this here up on the north end of the fire. And as I zoom in, you'll see some of these drainages show up here. So north, middle, and south Red Creek on the north end of the fire. Back here is where when I went into the fire, this little saddle area, I was watching crews kind of build this line that's right there that's held. There's a big valley back to the west here. That is North Red Creek. And that is certainly going to pick up here. Middle Red Creek is also going to see that pick up. All of that flows toward Siloam Road there and then dumps off to the northeast toward the Arkansas River. So those are the drainages in the fire perimeter, or the area where the fire has burned, that we are most concerned about. But there are a bunch of other drainages back here. I mean, in the slopes of the wet mountains and the higher terrain that feed into the Arkansas River as well, that are under a flash flood warning, that have had some real heavy rain this afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on that north half of the fire. This is just to the north of the Beulah area. And a couple hours ago, we did have some heavier rain that was kind of on the burn area that is burning up toward St. Charles Peak to the west of Highway 165. So we're keeping an eye on all of that. But you can see where some of the other heavy rain has been today. And if I take you up to the north here, you can see some of the heavier rain that we have had through the afternoon in parts of the Pikes Peak region. And if I look at the last 3 hours, it gives you some indication of where some of the stronger storms of the day has been. And there are multiple areas that have gotten hit with a couple of different storms, including southeast Douglas and southwest Elbert County. If we look at what the radar is estimating in here, some of this is more than 3 inches of rain. And so in the Elbert area, heads up, a lot of this is going to flow toward northern parts of Elbert County and northern sections of Douglas County, kind of on the north side of the Palmer Divide. So heads up about that as you guys remain under a flash flood warning. So there is a lot going on this afternoon. So to reset, here's kind of where we are. There is a severe thunderstorm out ahead of the El Paso County one as well. That storm has rolled through Pumpkin Center, is moving toward Carville now. That storm is also giving way to additional development as the outflow boundary interacts with moisture that we've got in place over the plains. And so see how that new thunderstorm has popped up here? Pueblo, that's what we're going to kind of watch for you and for other areas to the south of here on Highway 50 as this outflow keeps moving your way here over the next couple of hours. Everything that you see will keep shifting off to the southeast through the afternoon. And I will do some additional analysis on that here in a little bit. All right, Cindy is saying that we could use some rain in Rye. You could, Cindy, in a big way. You know, that's the double-edged nature of having a fire in the vicinity and a burned area, because we're susceptible to flash flooding, but I think we would all deal with that right now to get a couple inches of rain on this fire. And this is going to be one of our better chances here over the next hour to 90 minutes. And so we will keep watching that really, really close here. That's a good point that you make, and there is some coming your way. So hopefully that hits you. If you have seen some flooding or something this afternoon and you would like to tell me about it, please come onto our coverage here. You can use vmix.at/zmSjK. The S and K are capitalized. Copy that, write it down, put it into your browser on your phone. You can stop the live stream here and join me. You'll pop in. We can talk about it. You can go outside, show me what's happening. Earlier this afternoon, my sister-in-law and my niece sent me some video from the Elbert County Fair where one of the first storms of the day rolled through. So this is from the Schneider family here. This is the Elbert County Fair ongoing this week in Kiowa. And you can see it's going to be muddy there for the rest of the afternoon and evening as those storms rolled through. They need rain in this area like many of us do in southern Colorado. So they were happy to see that for sure. You can also send me a video or photo in the Peaks to Plains weather app. Or you can come on, like I said, the other link you can use is vmix.at/1RJSL1 with the J and S capitalized. Those are always the same. So take a moment here, write these things down, scribble it down. I'm going to leave them up for a second. Put them in as contacts on your phone. Then when you look up Peaks to Plains weather, you can just click on those and you can pop in with us live. Because some of you are looking at some pretty gnarly storms right now. It'd be cool to kind of take a look at those together. I'm using some of the tools that I have to do that. But it would be cool to see some of you contribute in that way as well. So let's take a little camera tour here. See, we've got Splashback and Cascade, where folks are driving between Colorado Springs and Pueblo, the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Traffic not too bad there. Temperatures have come down. That's nice. East wind pushing some of this moisture up against the hills. Fort Carson, haven't seen any rain there yet. Canyon City, we are waiting for storms to come, but they are getting closer and closer. Our temperatures will drop as the storms move in. And in Pueblo, we are going to get some here as we head toward dinner. Lots of folks heading out from work now that we are past 4 o'clock. It's another hot day. It's 96 degrees. But see that east wind? That's going to switch around out of the north as the outflow comes our way. That should be getting to us about the time storms are coming in from the west. And so we will see our storm chances pick up here as we move toward dinner. In fact, for the rest of the day into the evening, here's how things are going to play out. There's a wave that's been moving in from Utah today that is driving our thunderstorm activity. The other thing we have is a slightly cooler air behind the front that came in the other day is pushing up against the hills. And if you were watching, just nailed this thing. Talked about storms getting stronger as they moved off the mountains. And that certainly happened today. So we'll let this come back through one more time. Some of the strongest storms are going to be across the northeastern part of Colorado, where a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect through 8 o'clock this evening. But we may have some severe thunderstorms across the southeastern part of Colorado as well, to the south of the watch. And let me show you why. SkyCast doing a nice job of nailing that storm that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it in eastern El Paso County right now. And it brings storms through the Pueblo area. It brings storms across the Aspen Acres Fire. Bring some storms across I-25, and through the evening, shift things out across the plains. Not to say that there won't be some thunderstorms back behind that. You're going to have these outflow boundaries cruising around, but it's the leading edge of the storms that are the strongest storms. And some of those will be around with us into the late evening over the eastern plains, and then come to an end in the early morning hours of Wednesday. So the heavy rain threat will be with us with the storms through about 10 o'clock or so tonight. And then we'll see that activity kind of wind down. All right, a lot of you popping in here. Let's see. Actually, I didn't skip Canyon City, Shadowhawk. We just talked about it. You put that in maybe before I did that. All right. Let's see. Wizard Davita talking about how Lost Mary and from Channel 13 and found her here. Yeah, Peaks to Plains Weather, me, Mary Matthews, and Rachel Plath doing this here. This is kind of us evolving to take better care of you in a more intimate way. We are happy to do that. Mary had her baby yesterday. And so congratulations to her and David and the boys. And her new baby daughter was just under 8 pounds. I'll get a picture tonight, and I'll show you that tomorrow morning on Mornings with Meister. So we'll reset here, 4:06. And I'm getting a storm at my house right now. Oh, an update. Not you just missed us, the storm. That's pretty good. I don't know. I'm keeping track of lots of stuff at once here, so, forgive me. That's pretty funny. Some people say, hey, you never talk about me. I mean, we can zoom in on everybody here at Peaks to Plains Weather because we have time. So let's talk about how things will kind of evolve through the rest of the evening. Right now, we are getting kind of the peak of everything that we are going to get in the Pikes Peak region. And as we head into early Wednesday morning, we'll be cooler than we were on Monday morning, man, when we were in the 70s. I think we're in the 50s and 60s. I've got more storms in the forecast tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the coolest day of the week here, the coolest stretch. And the threat of severe weather tomorrow is lower, but the threat of heavy rain is going to be with us again. So over some of the mountain areas, we've had some storms earlier today. Fremont County, Custer County, we're getting our kind of big burst right now, so things will get quieter as we head through the evening. The storms fire back up tomorrow. Some of them will happen earlier than lunchtime. That's been the case the last couple of days, especially up on the peaks. We start to see the updrafts developing. Probably saw some cool looks if you were out and about during the lunch hour on Pikes Peak late this morning and early this afternoon. Areas to the south are going to see things shift from west to east. So through dinner, we'll catch storms here along the southern I-25 corridor. We may see a couple of storms come into the southwest corner of the state after midnight with the wave that will impact us tomorrow. As that keeps moving from west to east, it's going to develop another round of storms that, again, start over the mountains and then shift eastward. I know it has been quiet over a lot of the eastern plains, but our window is coming this evening. And then as we start off Wednesday, things will be quiet, but we hit the afternoon and we'll watch for storms to again develop off to our west. Notice I don't think anybody's hitting 100 tomorrow, and then the storms will move east late part of the afternoon and the evening again. That's what we are going to get tonight, those of us on this map here. And the Palmer Divide, we'll see things shift and end from west to east as we move through the middle and late part of the evening, and then fire up a chance of storms from west to east again tomorrow. So the pattern tomorrow is not all that different. It might be an hour or two later than today was, and the threat of severe weather is going to be less. So that's kind of the big difference here between today and tomorrow. Then we see a change a little bit farther out into the future. Let me talk about that. Let's do our extended forecast here and kind of get you set for this change into the weekend, because the monsoon's going to shift a little bit. So you can see very clearly right now where this area of high pressure is, right? I mean, there's clockwise flow around it. You don't need me to help you pick that out. It's kind of centered over northeastern New Mexico this afternoon. Now let me show you how things change as we move into the weekend. By the time we hit Thursday, the high is in the process of kind of reestablishing itself or kind of getting stronger off to our southwest. And what that does with time is it's going to bring in northwest or even northerly flow over the weekend instead of southwest flow. So here by Friday afternoon, we've got the circulation kind of near Las Vegas, let's say. And our flow up at about 18,000 feet is already out of the northwest. We'll have some storms Thursday and Friday, just not as many as today, not as many as tomorrow. But as we hit the weekend, we push the moisture off to the south for a few days. And so with that comes an increase in temperatures. Now, on Sunday, see this wave up here to the north? That usually, as it clears the Rocky Mountains, sends a cold front into our area. And on the north side of this high, that usually kind of helps it come into the area. That may open the door for some storms again as we head into early next week. And front probably comes in late enough on Monday or Monday evening even that Monday's still a hot day. And then we'll see the temperatures drop some for Tuesday. So, by the time we hit Sunday, we may be talking about temps near records again. And again, Monday is a day where maybe we get a storm chance as the front's kind of coming into the Pikes Peak region late in the day with a temperature drop for Tuesday. So we'll get drier, warmer over the weekend, and then behind the front next week, we get a chance of storms. I think even the mountain areas dry out this weekend, and that'll bump the numbers up. And then storm chances should come back as the monsoon gets a little bit active with that high kind of wobbling around here. And over the plains, we are going to see some triple digits again. It won't be as hot as it was last weekend, which is probably good because it was damn hot last weekend. And then we'll see if we can catch some storms as we move into next week. Okay. Let's see. Shauna loves that Mary had her baby. Wizard Davida does as well. Cooler means smaller hail. No, that's not necessarily how it works out. The upper atmosphere is not all that cold today, so it's taking the strongest updrafts to produce a hail threat. And saying, well, that's good because I've got a great garden going this summer, so please no hail. I will cross my fingers for you. And Jim says, earlier we spoke about a Fujiwara effect. Yeah, let me see. When you get a couple different circulations, they can interact with each other. Let me see if I can find that here on radar. I'm going to have to go back a ways. It's not a textbook Fujiwara effect, but it was enough so that it was kind of worth mentioning. So let me go back I'm going to go back 5 hours here, see if I can find it. All right. This is Tamco live radar, and I will stop this as the loop comes back through. Okay. Watch the storm in northeast El Paso County and the storm that prompted the flash flood warning just to the north of the El Paso County line in Douglas and Elbert County. These couple of updrafts here kind of run into each other and see how it kind of curves? That's sort of the Fujiwara effect. I'm stretching it a little bit. But we had a couple of updrafts up here run into each other. Then that updraft ran into the storms that were coming out of the east side of the Colorado Springs metro area and turned into what is our severe thunderstorm warning that we've got going right now. So there have been a couple of different collisions that have happened in the atmosphere this afternoon. We do have some flash flooding that has been reported. This was about half hour ago here where we've got this flash flood warning off to the southwest of Canyon City. This was 7 miles south of Texas Creek. So it's about probably pretty near the county line, maybe not, a little farther north there. So this is in Fremont County. The emergency manager reports that Copper Gulch Road had some flash flooding. There is some video and a photo that was provided, so I'll see if I can get my hand on that. In fact, let me look somewhere, see if I can get an idea of the severity of that. Hold on a moment. Got like 5 monitors up in here, keeping an eye on everything. Yeah, so I would describe as some minor flooding kind of running over Copper Gulch Road. Certainly not something to drive through. Don't know if that road's been washed out or not, but I'll get that into my weather system here. Yeah, you know, water moves around, and now we've got this coming into the Aspen Acres Fire. So let's drill down on this here. In fact, the Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for this cluster of storms that is moving into the Aspen Acres Fire right now. So this includes Beulah and Beulah Valley. It includes Rye and Colorado City. And so this is going to be the most significant water that we have seen thus far impact the Aspen Acres fire. And so they've gone ahead and been proactive and issued a flash flood warning for the southern end of the fire now as well. This is for the potential for some wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. So let me pull up the velocity here and we can analyze this together. I'm going to loop it over the last 45 minutes. I want to see it move. Remember, green colors are moving toward the radar and red colors are moving away from the radar. The radar is just to the northeast of the TAMCO Hail Guard logo there because we are looking at TAMCO live radar. So you can see that all of this wind right here, I'll stop it now, is moving in this direction. And then there's a little area of wind moving away, and then you got more wind moving toward the radar. And all we can do is measure the wind along the radar beam. So, there's a couple cells in this area. There's a little bit of rotation here that's being indicated about right in there. So if I go back to the reflectivity, that's probably where our strongest reflectivity is. So there's actually some good inflow coming into that storm right there. Again, this is on the north end of the Aspen Acres fire. And a little rotation with that shows that the storm is strengthening a bit. So it might have some hail a little bit below an inch in diameter. Again, hail's not the biggest threat with these things today. I keep saying that. We haven't had any large hail reports as of yet. If you have seen some, please let me know. We can pass that on, but it looks like everything has been wind gust reports. We did get a 67 mile per hour gust report off to the northeast of Truckton in southeast El Paso County with that storm. So this storm that we're looking at here that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it could also produce some wind gusts up around 60 miles per hour. And this is until 4:30 here. So we've got another 15 minutes or so to go with this. But this is also the cluster of storms that has prompted a new flash flood warning for the south end of the Aspen Acres fire. So you can see in blue where we've got the outline of the fire. The western edge of the fire is getting some really heavy rain right now. So let's start drilling down here. This is probably our most significant flood risk that we have seen thus far with this fire. So what I'm going to do is I am going to tilt us down here so we can see the terrain. The terrain is really, really important in this fire because in the burned areas where we have the combination of higher heat burn and more significant terrain is where we have the highest flash flood risk. So we are looking due west now, and I'm going to come up a little bit. Okay, so we can get a sense of the terrain. And so what we are watching is all of these different drainages and where they all flow. So here's San Isabel, kind of back toward the Aspen Acres campground where the fire initially began. So here is the Chicken Foot right there to the west of Highway 165. And then there's unburned area off to the west of San Isabel. And then you have the burn that has been moving up towards St. Charles Peak and is up on top of the mountain. That's the area getting the heaviest rain right now. And so the drainages that we are dealing with, let me come back up a little bit. Again, we are looking due west. Okay, Davenport Creek, Squirrel Creek, Middle Creek, which runs into Beulah, so downstream here. You can see moving toward the Beulah area. So heads up Beulah, that's why you are in these flash flood warnings. And then a little bit farther to the north of there, get my bearings here. And so I'm going to rotate us back to the north now, because that's how I'm familiar with looking at the shape of the burn. So you've got Ditch Creek, White Creek, Asher Creek, all of those flow into North Creek. That ends up kind of flowing into the Beulah Valley area. Up to the north of there, you've got where we're getting some heavy rain here still, North Red Creek, Middle Red Creek, and South Red Creek. So I'd say most concern right now is kind of this western edge of the fire and some of the stuff that flows into North Creek. But some of the heaviest rain just getting into the burn now. So let me rotate us back to the west again. Like, let's do northwest. And then let's come down a little bit and we get a sense of the higher terrain there. So some of this stuff that's outside of the burn back here is in a low spot already. So that's kind of good, but you can see right in here, we've got some higher terrain here that's getting some real hefty stuff. Some of the other burn here on the western edge with some of the more steep terrain is getting some of that. Panther Creek, some of that's going to come down. Like I said, Yellow Creek is one of the creeks that's going to get that. So all of this area here is just starting to get some heavy rain picking up with some slow-moving storms. Off to the north of San Isabel right now, we are getting heavy rain as well. So heads up if you are in this area. I know some of us are back home cleaning up after losing our home. Some of us, have smoke damage that we are dealing with, but we were blessed enough to return to our homes. But all of us in the burn area, and then eventually some of the creeks outside of the burn that come from the burn, need to pay attention here for the next couple of hours. How long are these flash flood warnings up? For the southern half of the fire, it is until 7:15. For the northern half of the fire, it was until, my query's grabbing the severe thunderstorm warning, but we've got a flash flood warning until 6:30. So this is for the northern part of the Aspen Acres burn. So again, we'll keep our real close eye on that area here. Let's come back to the severe thunderstorm warning that is over northeastern El Paso County. We've still got it here. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning for the storm that's on the southern flanks of Pikes Peak. This is the one that moved out of the Cripple Creek area. This one could be producing some strong wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. We'll watch for that. That outflow is going to move down the hill, down the slopes of Pikes Peak across Highway 115. At the elevation that's at, it could have some 3/4 inch diameter hail as well. And you can see that that updraft is starting to show some signs of rotation. And computers picking up on inch diameter hail. It's probably less than that given what the atmospheric conditions are today. And then we have this severe thunderstorm warning still around the Rush area now out across far eastern El Paso County, and a new severe thunderstorm warning that they have issued for this until 4:45. So we've got a couple of things out here this afternoon. In fact, looks like maybe one of those was just an update of the other one. So it's fast and furious out there, crew. Storm's starting to move toward Pueblo now. Told you, Pueblo, that they were coming. And also told you that the outflow boundary was going to play a role. And you can see where the outflow boundary is right now. It's just to your north. So Pueblo West, those of us north of Highway 50 are starting to catch the outflow come in. The rest of us in the Steel City are going to see the wind switch around out of the north and will start to cool off in a noticeable way. Avondale and Boone will catch in on that. And then those of us in Crowley County and areas off to the east, our time's coming here later on this evening. If you remember, and you were with us yesterday, we talked about today and tomorrow being the most widespread chance of thunderstorm activity and heavy rain. So here's hoping that you get some. Okay. Jim says the 3D map is handy. Worked really hard to have all of that ready. Got people talking about on YouTube, hoping the moat fills up at Bishop Castle. Would be kind of cool to see. That was the last part of Jim Bishop's dream, the moat that is there. Let's watch this over the last 4 hours and watch how our afternoon has gone, crew. Storms developing first over the mountains and parts of the Palmer Divide, and starting to make the noticeable shift now off to the southeast. Storm coverage on Peaks to Plains Weather is sponsored by Tamco Building Products and the Hail Guard shingles beyond Class 4. As we move through the rest of the day here, man, oh man, we'll start to see things quiet down in the cities. Colorado Springs, we're still going to get some rain here back behind the strongest storms that are already off to our south and east. But we're kind of done with our busiest part of the day. Pueblo, we're about to get going here between 4:30 and 6:30. I think I put a post on social media a couple hours ago that said 4:30 to 6:30. That's going to work out good. And we also have some storms off to the west of Walsenburg, one around Trinidad right now, but everything is going to shift off to the southeast here this evening. Let's look at where the heaviest rain has been across the area today, because we have several flash flood warnings, I should say, that are ongoing right now. We've got them in Fremont County, we've got them in Custer County, southwestern Pueblo County around the Aspen Acres Fire. I told you that we would get one issued for northeast El Paso County and told you I was going to give you an early heads up about that. It was about 90 minutes ago. We do have one now for this area. Just to the north of Highway 94, where we have had some hail here, so you need to keep that in mind with some of this analysis from the radar. But between 1 and 2 and maybe over 2 inches of rain in some areas here. So if you're driving around on dirt roads and your tires aren't good, good luck with that. Maybe some ponding of water on roads. Some of the creeks that maybe haven't been running much, going to be running. You can see Calhan has had some good rain today. I mean, a lot of us have had some good rain here, kind of ringing Colorado Springs. Or some of us have had heavier rain on other days. So we're trying to at least sort of, share it around here, which is good news. But again, the Aspen Acres Fire, we are going to be getting some heavier rain here, and that is moving across the fire now. So let's go back and talk about the drainages one more time that are getting this here this afternoon. And I'm going to take my gray base map off so we can focus on the drainages. In fact, I'm going to take the radar off as well, because we know we're getting heavy rain in this area. So we're going to work from the north end of the fire to the south end of the fire. North, middle, and south Red Creek, all catching some heavy rain. So you can see where there is a ridge here. So some of this is flowing. Let me change my color to the green. I mean, you've got all of this that's flowing into North Red Creek. On this side of the ridge, we're flowing it into Middle Red Creek. You can see we've got a noticeable ridge there. All of this is flowing down into Middle Red Creek, right? And again, that's where we're getting heavy rain right now. Put the radar back on there for you. You can see that. We'll come a little bit farther to the south, a little bit closer to the Beulah area. And we get an area where we are outside of the fire, kind of on the west side of where that magenta line is. But man, we've got some real heavy rain happening in the fire now. A lot of these drainages that you see here, the White Creek, Ditch Creek, Asher Creek, Yellow Creek, and Panther Creek all flow into North Creek. And on North Creek Road off to the north of Beulah Valley, that all comes into the east end of the valley and then ends up in the North St. Charles River. So heads up on North Creek. Let's pay attention to Middle Creek because that comes into Beulah directly. And we've had heavy rain moving over Middle Creek, and that is moving toward Beulah very, very fast. And then a little bit farther south of there, we've got Squirrel Creek, South Creek, Willis Creek, around San Isabel. A lot of the creeks here that flow into the St. Charles River getting some moderate to heavy rain now. The Little St. Charles River, Muddy Creek, which ends up flowing itself out of the fire off on the east end. So heads up, I mean, all of the drainages are getting it this afternoon. We've just got this line of storms that is rolling across the Aspen Acres burn, the heaviest of which is up on the north end. This is going to be our most significant precip event thus far, and we'll see if we get debris and ash moving around. I don't see any reports as of yet here. Checking a couple of different things. But man, heads up on this. So the severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire, but ongoing flash flood warnings for Custer County, including Silver Cliff and West Cliff, until 6:45. North end of the fire until 6:30. That's probably going to be expanded, is my guess. And then until 7:15 on the south end of the fire. Again, the north end is where I'm most concerned about right now. A lot of that's flowing into Beulah Valley, North Creek, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. Storm coverage picking up here in southern Lincoln County this afternoon, where we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, the biggest threat here is for strong wind gusts that we have seen this afternoon. Let me pull up the storm reports because there are a couple that are already into the system here. And they've mainly been wind this afternoon. Even up across northeastern Colorado, up across the Denver area, lots of wind reports. Let me query all these. So there's one up personal weather station up around the Greeley area. Lots of different reports off to the east of Denver between 60 and 70 miles per hour. Off to the northwest of Kiowa, north of Elizabeth, a 60 mile per hour gust. In Calhan, a 58 mile per hour gust with a personal weather station. Trucked in a personal weather station measuring 67 miles per hour. Another one in Truckton measuring 58 miles per hour. So, yeah, worked out pretty good. Do have a hail report in Castle Rock of 1 inch. And there's another hail report just under an inch. So, you know, even though the computer is seeing some of this stuff as showing some larger hail, it's the time of year these storms just have a harder time doing that. And then we have the flash flood report from south of Texas Creek this afternoon on Copper Gulch Road, where some water was running over the road. So that's where we are now. Here's how everything is going to play out, okay, and take you through the rest of the evening. And we've got the severe thunderstorm watch, and a watch means that severe weather is possible in and around the watch. And we've had some of it, you know, obviously a little bit to the southwest of where the watch is. But as we move through the rest of the evening here, Pueblo, we're going to get our storms over the next 90 minutes. And then everything kind of rolls off to the east. And see how there is still some bowing to these storms that the model's picking up on? See how they all bow out a little bit? It's picking up on the potential for wind. So not only heavy rain through the evening, but a continued wind threat. Okay? Any specific questions you have? I can take those now. You can come on here and you can join me on Peaks to Plains Weather. You can use these different links that we have that can bring you into our system here, and you can join us and you can be part of the coverage. Got people hoping that maybe the fire will be out. I mean, you know, I hope. Got a report 10 miles to the south of Spanish Peaks of some good rain. So we've had a couple of different things here through the afternoon getting going. All right. If you don't have any questions, I'll wrap this coverage up for now. But Pueblo, heads up. It is coming. You're welcome, Jen. Let's focus on you before we get out of here. And then those of you in the Aspen Acres Fire, you should know that there is a threat of flash flooding. We've talked about that in detail. If I get a heads up about that, we will give you, a pop back on and let you know. The Weather Service has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. This includes the west half of Pueblo. It includes Pueblo West. At home, you should be saying with yourself, or you should be saying why. This is for wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. So let's analyze that. Let's look at the velocity here, and you can see the outflow boundary. This one coming in from the west associated with these storms. I will loop this over the last hour, and you will see this develop and move your way. I'm going to slow it down here. Again, the green colors is the wind that's moving toward the radar. You can see an acceleration here down the eastern slopes of the wet mountains. In fact, I'll bring it back a couple radar frames ago. See this blue here? Kind of right on Highway 96. Let's measure that because that's some pretty strong wind here, around 50 miles per hour. 53 miles per hour, and then the leading edge of that is expanding eastward. So that's what's coming into Pueblo West from the southwest here. This is all going to move across Pueblo. It's going to drop our temperatures, but it's also going to help to push the thunderstorms east. And we're starting to get storms over the area now with the stronger storms off to the west. So heads up, this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 5:15. So it's a little bit more than 30 minutes, about 38 minutes or so. We've also got this outflow boundary coming in from the north. The wind with that has lost some oomph a little bit, but it is developing new storms like we talked about a couple hours ago, crew. So hopefully what I enjoy being able to do here on Peaks to Plains Weather is to be able to get into the meteorology in more detail and give you more heads up than we had time to do on TV. And hopefully you're finding that useful. If I might take a moment and ask you a favor, if you would tell several people, because maybe some of you are finding us for the first time this afternoon, if you would tell friends, coworkers about Peaks to Plains Weather, show them the app, help them download the app. Tell them about the 24-hour channel that is on Roku and on Fire TV. I would appreciate that greatly. Mary would appreciate that greatly, and Rachel would appreciate that as well. If you haven't seen the Peaks to Plains Weather app, let me show it to you. I'm going to load it up now on my phone, and I'm going to pull it up for you here. All right. This, see where I'm at here, is the Peaks to Plains Weather app. And right now we've got our live coverage, the notification I did for that. Here is me in the 24-hour channel covering the storms. So you can watch that right from the homepage of the app. You can expand that channel. You can make it bigger, and you can turn your phone sideways. It'll fill up the screen. That's running 24 hours a day. If you want to watch that on your couch, Roku, Fire TV, YouTube. It's also streaming on peakstoplainsweather.com. The app is the best way for us to take care of you. Up at the top, we put updates there, video updates. We've got, where I'm at, I'm under the severe thunderstorm watch here. We've got the hourly forecast, we've got the days ahead, and it's for where you are. We've got Skyscan and Skycast on the weather map page. You can customize all of this at the bottom. Like you can go in here and you can decide what you want to look at. Do I want to see wind speed? Do I want to see storm tracks, lightning? So it's highly customizable for you. Do I want to see different alerts on there? Like I can turn the thunderstorm alerts on. I can turn the rain and flooding on. I'm also going to say I want to see the lightning and I want to see the radar. So I'm going to save this map as temp. I've got about 14 of these in there, but then next time I come back to the app, it's there. So let me bring it back to home here so I can see all the severe thunderstorm warnings. I can see the lightning. I can see the flash flood warnings that we've got off to the southwest of Pueblo. Use some of my other things. I can see the clouds and radar, and I can look at the past. So this would be the satellite and the radar, so showing what actually happened. Then if I stop that link and I click on future, now I'm looking at model data that takes me out into the future, and I can move through tonight. So crew, it's all there for you. Like, and it shows those storms rolling out across the plains here into the evening. So please download the app. That's where we can give you a digital shoulder tap, cut through all the noise, let you know that something is happening where you are, including a severe thunderstorm warning for Pueblo and Pueblo West. And getting some storms to develop up on the north end of town, north side of Pueblo West, along that outflow boundary that has moved in from the north. That's associated with the storms that started the day up across the Pikes Peak region, up across El Paso County. And it's meeting those storms coming in from the west that are bringing the real heavy rain right now to the Aspen Acres Fire. We have a new flash flood warning that has been issued as well. This is for the storms that were rolling out of the Cripple Creek area. So let me go to the precipitation accumulation here. Whoops. Let me come up to the north. So this includes Cripple Creek. Cruising up to the casinos. Just be aware there that there is a flash flood warning we've seen in this area. Let me estimate the rain here. It's the bright green. It's over an inch. All that's going to come down the hillsides here on the slopes of Pikes Peak and kind of flow down toward the Arkansas River. So heads up. Some of the creeks on the side of Pikes Peak. Man, you just got lots going on here this afternoon. There are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different flash flood warnings right now that are issued for this area. Hold on, I got notifications on social media that are going nuts. Let me see if I can turn those off. All right. Okay. Wow, crew, busy afternoon, busy afternoon. Heavy rain, strong wind gusts. Those are the biggest issues. Okay, I think we've covered it here for the time being. I'm going to take a short break, and we will hop back on. You can track the storms yourself in the Peaks to Plains weather app, but I appreciate you here. Kira, I'll do it. Her daughter wanted to hear me say 6-7. There you go, Kira. Not 6 to 7 inches of rain, but 6 to 7 storms, 6 to 7 flash flood warnings. That's probably what you wrote that about. Kat says, hey, getting rain now in Pueblo. Shadowhawk says, thanks for keeping us weather aware. We are happy to do it. So that's it for now, my friends. We'll hop back on in a little bit, but Pueblo storms are coming in. I've been talking about it for hours now, so hopefully you're ready for it. We've got flash flood warnings out there. If you are in a low spot, seek higher ground. Climb up the hillside, go to the second story of your house. Don't cross flooded roadways, turn around, don't drown. And man, it's been a busy day. This is Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together. Our coverage of storms on Peaks to Plains Weather is made possible by Tamco Building Products and their Hail Guard shingles beyond Class 4. We thank them for making that possible. And we also thank our other sponsors on Peaks to Plains. You can check them out on peakstoplainsweather.com. We've got a link up at the top of the page for you. You're on Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together.
Hey, this is John, General Manager of Patrol, up on another customer's roof doing a 21-point inspection. If you'd like us to take a look at your roof, give us a call today, 719-375-8773. We'd be happy to take a look and see the condition of your roof. Petrala Roofing, we're a Diamond certified TAMCO installer, which means we can offer a industry-leading 25-year workmanship warranty to give you peace of mind in the storm. Call Petrala Roofing 719-375-8773. Schedule your free inspection today.
This time let's take a look.
After 30 years and successfully restoring literally thousands of vehicles, Networks, the #1 rated hail damage removal shop in Colorado Springs, understands that the key is love. We love what we do because there is an art to finish restoration. It is truly an art form that saves your vehicle's finish and leaves the entire unit's body intact without the need for repair. We take pride in the reputation built by customers who share their experiences and results working with Networks. Hailstorms affect communities, and for 16 years, we have been here for Colorado Springs, the same location. Denton hail damage can leave you feeling helpless. Networks assures you that what seems like a hopeless situation is not. We will remove damage and restore your vehicle to your satisfaction and our exacting standards. We love our customers and make it simple for you to move easily through the process of restoring your vehicle to where you want it. Contact Networks at 636-3368 or visit us at networkscoloradosprings.com. To see why Dentworks customers love our work, check us out at Yelp and Google. Dentworks, the fine art of paintless dent removal since 1980.
We're in the middle of summer. I am at Highgate Colorado Tree Farm Nursery to check in on what to do if you want to plant this time of year and talk to Levi Hydrick about, have a brown thumb, what are the best things to plant? If I could give my bulletproof brown thumb list, ornamental grass would be like the feathery grass, tall forester, avalanche, overdone grass. Another good ornamental grass is blue oak grass. And you've got quite a few shrubs that are pretty bulletproof. All your spirea, potentilla, Hedge-Cotoneash, your native stuff, which a lot of it's what we grow. That's what we sell. We want you to be successful. Those plants do well. There's some evergreens in terms of spreading juniper, mugo pines, oak spruce, perennials, daylilies, daisies. If you kill a catman or a May-night salvia, you probably should go get plastic plants. But we've got some stuff that's pretty easy to grow. So things that you've planted years past, I think it's important. Like they're not going to take as much water. They're not fully established, but it's definitely different than a brand new plant. So you shouldn't have to water as often. As far as people ask, should I fertilize? Should I feed? We never recommend heavy fertilization, high nitrogen, the first couple of years while the plant's establishing. But we really want to focus on soil growth. We want to cultivate soil. And I think that's something that gets overlooked a lot in this industry. And then just the fast-paced market or housing market. If you have a newer homes where they dug out a foundation, built a house, they scraped all that good, we're going to call it topsoil. If you're from back east or the Midwest, it's not like that topsoil, but it's what we call topsoil. But they get rid of all the microorganisms, the mycorrhizae, the earthworms, the things that have grown old soil that make it easier and beneficial for plants to grow. So it's really important that we add those nutrients and things back in. So we do sell several products that you can either mix in with plants that you plant, or in your case, you've got stuff you planted a while ago. It's actually water-soluble fertilizer made by Happy Frog or Fox Farm. And I've got several different formulations. You mix with water, you can water it in a bucket, or you can hook up to a hose-in sprayer, set the dial correctly, and feed them that way. But again, we're trying to create an environment where roots want to grow. There's earthworms, there's mycorrhizae, that beneficial fungus is starting to grow. So that's really the main goal, is to cultivate the soil. If you do that, water properly, you're going to have healthy plants. So we get a lot of questions this time of year. Is it still safe to plant? Is it too hot? Should I plant in the summer? And the short answer is yes. Dad always said the best time was 30 years ago, and that's the best time now. Benefits to every season. So we get a lot of, spring, summer, fall. You'll hear all the old gardeners and people that have been around for a while give their opinions. I can tell you, I think planting now is better than waiting for two reasons. One, you have better selection. My goal is to be sold out of stuff by the end of the season and be fully loaded. So we always have more inventory earlier on versus later. But for the plants, you're going to give them a longer time to grow roots and get established for winter, which if we have winters like we had last year, that's a good thing. So more root growth, get things established, that's the benefit to planting now. Come see us, we're happy to help. We sure appreciate everybody.
Love your yard with a new outdoor space from F&B Landscaping. From a new build to a new project in an existing yard, we listen and give you the yard you want within your budget. Lawns, water features, xeriscaping. We've got the artistic touch and technical know-how to bring the peak of Colorado outdoor living to your home. Reliable, trustworthy. Visit fblandscapes.com to schedule a free consultation today.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
I'm Catherine.
And I'm Dewey, here with another water-wise tip.
During summer, do you know why we water up to 3 days a week?
To make the best use of me.
Exactly. It builds deeper, stronger roots and makes your lawn more resilient.
Also, use the cycle and soak method. Try shorter cycles with breaks in between to reduce runoff.
And in spring or fall, you can water 1 or 2 days per week. Be water-wise and your lawn will thrive.
Now that's water-wise. Learn more at csu.org/waterwise.
Well, it's time for a look at the extended forecast across the area, and we do have some changes as we head toward the weekend. That's after we get storms for the next couple of days. Tuesday into Wednesday bring our most likely storms across the area, bringing you the extended forecast from the F&B Landscaping and Hydrix Colorado Tree Farm Nursery, Peaks to Plains Weather Backyard, and it's a cooler morning than what we had on Monday, and cooler temps will be part of the forecast the next couple of days with some storms around as well. Still pretty warm, just not the record heat that we had over the weekend. So I'll begin here with the water vapor imagery, and this helps to show us where there's water in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. I add some color to the satellite here where there is even a little bit more, and notice some of that over Arizona. That's going to work across the region on Wednesday and help to keep us with some storms around. Then we'll start to see things change a little bit as we move toward the weekend, because the area of high pressure is going to shift from being off to our south to off to our southwest. And you see a black line that starts to develop here over the southwestern U.S. That's where the circulation is. That clockwise circulation ends up bringing northwest and northerly flow into Colorado, dries us out, warms us up for Saturday and Sunday. If we're going to get a storm over the weekend, it'll be over the mountains, but the bases will be a little bit higher. They'll be less likely to produce heavy rain, a little bit more likely to produce some gusty wind. And so things certainly getting quieter here. Watch this little wave up across the U.S. and Canada border from Sunday into Monday. That's going to try to send a cold front into the area. There's some work we have to do on how much of the cool air gets here, how long it sticks around. There are a couple of differing opinions on that in some of our computer models here. The pattern says it'll get here, something that we watch for. And so after the temperatures coming up over the weekend and staying pretty toasty on Monday, I think we'll drop a little bit on Tuesday as the front sneaks in from the northeast. Moisture starts to return to the area, so we'll get at least a couple of afternoons of some thunderstorm chances again in and around Colorado Springs. Even the mountains get quieter over the weekend. I can't totally take the chance of a storm out. The temperatures come back up as storm chances drop, and then early next week, maybe the return of some storms for our mountain communities, in particular in areas over and near them. Pueblo and the Plains, it's going to be hot this weekend. Not as hot as it was last weekend. We're going to be back to some triple digits for sure. It is still going to be humid, probably not as humid as it was last weekend, but you know, still, it's summertime, so you get these stretches obviously where you're gonna have hotter days compared to other days. We'll hope that we can get a couple of storms back into the forecast as well, particularly next Tuesday when another cold front arrives. But I think for Sunday and Monday and maybe even Saturday out east, we'll be back into the triple digits. That's what our extended forecast looks like. You can get it anytime you want in the Peaks to Plains weather app. Download it today.
Ramos Law serves people. We make the world a better place. We put people ahead of anything else. That's my name on this business. It's my face on the billboards. And what you don't see through any of that stuff is you don't see my heart. We've built this family, this Ramos Law family, in a way that will include you. And hopefully by the end of our representation, you also feel part of the Ramos Law family. I look forward to taking care of you.
This is John May, General Manager of Petrale Roofing, up on another customer's roof doing a free 21-point inspection. If you'd like us to take a look at your roof, give us a call today, 719-375-8773. We'd be happy to take a look and see the condition of your roof. Petrale Roofing, we're a Diamond certified TAMCO installer, which means we can offer a industry-leading 25-year workmanship warranty to give you peace of mind in the storm. Call Petrale Roofing, 719-375-8773. Schedule your free inspection today.
we're in the middle of summer. I am at Hydrix Colorado Tree Farm Nursery to check in on what to do if you want to plant this time of year, and to talk to Levi Hydrix about, if you have a brown thumb, what are the best things to grow?
If I have to give my bulletproof brown thumb list, ornamental grasses would be like the feather reed grass, so Carl Forrester, avalanche, overdam grass. Another good ornamental grass is the blue oat or blue avena grass. We got quite a few shrubs that are pretty bulletproof. A lot of your spirea, potentia, hedge cotoneaceae, your native stuff, which a lot of it's what we grow. That's what we sell. We want you to be successful. But those plants do well. There's some evergreens in terms of spreading juniper, mugo pines, globe spruce, perennials, daylilies, daisies. If you kill a catman or a May-night salvia, you probably should go get plastic plants. But we've got some stuff that's pretty easy to grow. So things that you've planted years past, I think it's important. Like they're not going to take as much water. They're not fully established, but it's definitely different than a brand new plant. So you shouldn't have to water as often. As far as people ask, should I fertilize? Should I feed? We never recommend heavy fertilization, high nitrogen, the first couple of years while the plant's establishing, but we really want to focus on soil growth. We want to cultivate soil. And I think that's something that gets overlooked a lot in this industry. And then there's the fast-paced market, our housing market. If you have a newer home where they dug out a foundation, built a house, they scraped all that good, we're going to call it topsoil. If you're from back east or the Midwest, it's not like that topsoil, but it's what we call topsoil. But they get rid of all the microorganisms, the mycorrhizae, the earthworms, the things that have grown old soil that make it easier and beneficial for plants to grow. So it's really important that we add those nutrients and things back in. So we do sell several products that you can either mix in with plants as you plant, or in your case, you've got stuff you planted a while ago. It's actually water-soluble fertilizer made by Happy Frog or Fox Farm. And I've got several different formulations. You mix with water, you can water it in a bucket, or you can hook up to a hose-in sprayer, set the dial correctly, and feed them that way. But again, we're trying to create an environment where roots want to grow. There's earthworms, there's mycorrhizae, that beneficial fungus is starting to grow. So that's really the main goal, is to cultivate the soil. If you do that, water properly, you're going to have healthy plants. So we get a lot of questions this time of year is it still safe to plant? Is it too hot? Should I plant in the summer? And the short answer is yes. Dad always said the best time was 30 years ago. The next best time is now. Benefits to every season. So we get a lot of, spring, summer, fall. You'll hear all the old gardeners and people that have been around for a while give their opinions. I can tell you, I think planting now is better than waiting for two reasons. One, you have better selection. My goal is to be sold out of stuff by the end of the season, not be fully loaded. So we always have more inventory earlier on versus later. But for the plants, you're going to give them a longer time to grow roots and get established before winter, which if we have winters like we had last year, that's a good thing. So more root growth, get things established. That's the benefit to planting now. Come see us. We're happy to help. We sure appreciate everybody.
Thunderstorms tracking from west to east across Colorado into Tuesday evening. Some of them have been strong and will continue to be. I'm Matt Meister. This is Peaks to Plains weather. A severe thunderstorm watch over the Palmer Divide and for northeast Colorado until 8 o'clock this evening. But some of the storms in our area could be strong as well, especially north of the Arkansas River. I'll break that down, get you set for another day of thunderstorms on Wednesday. You're on the home of the most accurate, useful, and detailed forecast in the area from the most experienced weather team. This is Peaks to Plains weather 24/7. Let's go.
grateful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee.
Here's to 150 years of the state we call home.
Barbecue brisket, smoked in that authentic Oklahoma style. Pulled pork sandwiches, and don't forget the sauce. It doesn't get any better than this. Order box lunches for the whole crew. Feed them safely with award-winning catering from Bird Dog Barbecue. Oklahoma style, perfected in Colorado.
In automobile crashes, the spine is frequently injured. There are all types of spinal injuries that we see frequently, that I treated frequently in the hospital as a medical doctor, and that I frequently represent people for here in our law firm. Why does it matter? Simply put, an understanding of the medicine is everything. And that's why if I were ever injured and I had to select an attorney, it would matter to me that somebody had a spine sitting with them and they actually understood what it meant.
We don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose HailGuard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. HailGuard shingles. Built for hail.
Alrighty, crew. Matt Meister here on Peaks to Plains Weather, and this is the situation. We were talking about this in my live coverage in the last thing I did more than 90 minutes ago about this was going to be the biggest threat we've had thus far on the Aspen Acres Fire. Our thunderstorm coverage here on Peaks to Plains Weather, sponsored by Tamco Building Products, or Hail Guard shingles beyond Class 4, and I am going to jump to Tamco Live Radar because the storms that rolled over the fire that we were talking about in detail before the flash flooding occurred is now producing life-threatening flash flooding over the Aspen Acres Fire. The storms, the strongest rain, heaviest rain, is off to the east. But in the last 3 hours, we have had more than an inch of rain over parts of the fire, and in particular, more than 2 inches of rain in areas that are feeding down North Creek into Beulah. There is a debris flow that is to the north of Beulah flowing toward town. I don't have the drainage that this is on, but it is highly likely that it is on North Creek. Because here you can see some of the areas where the heaviest rain has occurred are all of the drainages that flow into North Creek here. Some of this is outside of the burn, but it may be from this area up in here, or a lot of this flows down into North Creek as well. Could be coming out of Panther Creek, where we've had more than an inch of rain. So that's where it is most likely. Middle Creek did not have as heavy of rain as these other drainages to the north. But there is a debris flow that we know is coming down to the north of Beulah. The other issue out there this afternoon is that there are water rescues in the vicinity of San Isabel. This is an area where we have also seen some heavy rain this afternoon, and some of the drainages flowing down into San Isabel have been between about a half inch and an inch of rain. Now, we've seen other storms put this much rain down, but we do have water rescues that have occurred in the vicinity of San Isabel, is what I have. So the Weather Service has issued a particularly dangerous situation flash flood warning for this area. And if I widen the view out, you can see here the area that we are watching for is including Beulah, and it does include San Isabel. So this is the new one that replaces the 2 flash flood warnings that we had earlier and that are still active and ongoing. This is just an upgrade of those. So again, this is a potentially dangerous situation due to some very rain that we have had over parts of the Aspen Acres burn this afternoon. And I don't want to say that I was right, but I was right when we were talking about this was going to be the biggest risk here. So if you are just joining us here on Peaks to Plains Weather, there is a debris flow to the north of Beulah that is likely coming down North Creek. Panther Creek, a lot of these creeks here in this area have had between 1 and 2 inches of rain. Some of the more significant terrain is in this area as well, and that's an important part of this story. So let me show it to you here. And I may have to take the estimated rain off to kind of give us a feel here. In fact, I am going to do that. Give us a little bit better feel of the terrain. But if we come down into North Creek, so here's Beulah, here's North Creek, and then I'm going to kind of take us back up North Creek a little bit and kind of go up that. Now I'm going to turn to the northwest a little bit. So I'm going to do this slow so you can kind of keep an eye on this with me. Some of this terrain here, and there is area right on North Creek where we haven't seen burn, but some of this area that is higher up on the hillsides here and here all flows down into North Creek. And again, we're kind of looking off to the northwest now. So it could be Panther Creek, where the debris flow is coming down, and let me see if I can get a little bit more information on that. But again, this is burned trees. There's some ash coming down with this, and so these trees end up kind of interlocking together and then moving down the drainage. So heads up, Beulah Valley, if you're live to the north of Beulah, that's an area of concern. Now let me orient us back to the north. Now I'm going to come over to San Isabel, and you can see here, the town is outside of the burn area. They've been working really, really hard to protect structures. But to the north of there, we are in the burn, and Willow Creek, there's a pretty steep area, and we've had some pretty high burn here in the part of the burn or the fire that is burning up towards St. Charles Peak. So there may be some water that's rising along some of these drainages around San Isabel. So again, a life-threatening situation here in the Aspen Acres Fire on the day where we have now seen the heaviest rain move through the fire, particularly up on the north end of the fire where there is a debris flow to the north of Beulah. And you can see the bright green there. A large chunk of the fires had more than an inch of rain. Some parts of the fire may have had more than 2 inches of rain. We'll come back to that. That particularly dangerous situation, flash flood warning, is in effect for this area until 8 o'clock this evening. It includes Beulah, it includes the rest of Beulah Valley, and it does include San Isabel where there have been water rescues. Now let's transition to Pueblo, where we have had strong thunderstorms move in from the west, and we have had several severe thunderstorm warnings. We also have a flash flood warning that has been issued now for the greater Pueblo area and a really big section of Pueblo County. The heaviest rain has transitioned to the east of I-25, and it has been coming down pretty good, as you can see here. People are slowing down on Highway 50 at Elizabeth, and we can look at one of the other cameras that we have in this area. This is at Willis Boulevard. And the concern in Pueblo is the typical areas that have trouble moving water, where the city drainage has trouble. So under the bridge, the overpass there on the west side of the Pueblo Mall, parts of Abriendo have traditional issues moving water. So there are intersections that will flood. You're familiar with these areas in your neighborhoods, but those are the spots that we are most concerned about here. And we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for eastern Pueblo County. That is in effect here for another, that one was in effect until 5:30, so we've got another 8 minutes. The biggest severe weather risk outside of severe storms, or outside of flash flooding, I should say, today, is for wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. You can see this outflow boundary that is out ahead of these storms. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for northwestern Bent County, western Kiowa County, and northeastern Crowley County. This includes Eads, Haswell, areas along Highway 96. It is for wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. That's what all of these storms have been doing this afternoon. So you can see this outflow boundary here, this thin line in radar that's advancing out ahead of these storms. That's the rain-cooled air from these thunderstorms that have been putting down heavy rain. The flash flood warning for Pueblo County is up this evening until 8:15. It takes a while for the water to move through the system. And so that's why flash flood warnings are usually issued for a long length of time. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, technically 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them right now in our area, from the Pikes Peak region down across Pueblo, the Aspen Acres Fire, into Custer County, and even into Fremont County. So man, oh man, has it been a busy afternoon. So if you have something to report, you can do so here. If you are in an area seeing some flash flooding maybe in the street in Pueblo and you're in a safe spot, you aren't at risk of being inundated by the floodwaters, you can come on and give us a report here. You can put either of these two links into the browser on your phone, give the camera and the microphone permission to use that, and then you can come on here and give me a report. If you are in a higher area of the Aspen Acres Fire, you are also welcome to do that. Please don't do it if you are in an area where the water is rising. Please evacuate yourself, seek higher ground. Keep in mind that the easiest thing to do may be heading up the hillside. I-25 around Colorado City getting some heavy rain now. Southeast of Pueblo, we're getting heavy rain. Around the airport, we're getting heavy rain. The university neighborhood, CSU Pueblo. Everybody's got it in Pueblo. Nobody missed out this afternoon. That's really, really good news. We need the rain. We don't want the flooding issues. Again, if you are just joining us, a particularly dangerous situation, flash flood warning, has been issued by the Pueblo Weather Service because a ongoing debris flow has been reported to the north of Beulah. I lost that. Here we go. And we have had water rescues in the vicinity of San Isabel. And here's where the heaviest rain with these fires have been. So see where the heaviest rain is? All of these different drainages. The right-hand fork of North Creek, the North Creek, left-hand fork of North Creek, which is outside of the burn area, but the water with those may be meeting up with debris coming out of some of the steeper areas outside of North Creek in the little valley there. That's coming down. And then I don't have a specific location on where the water rescue was in the vicinity of San Isabel, but this is also a pocket of heavier rain that we have seen this afternoon. And in Custer County, outside of Wetmore, a couple miles this afternoon, somebody measured 2.5 inches of rain. So, yeah, it's this has by far been the most rain that we have seen over the most widespread area of the Aspen Acres Fire, and we've been talking about it for a number of weeks now, knowing that one of these days, one of these storm systems moving through was going to move some debris and some ash around, and it appears that today is that day. Colorado Springs, things are starting to improve. Here's what it looks like from Cloud Camp, from the Broadmoor. And we are seeing the sky starting to lighten up a little bit. There continues to be a severe thunderstorm watch for the Palmer Divide, parts of southern Colorado north of Highway 50. But you can see we've had pretty persistent severe thunderstorm warnings on the south end of this. And we have had reports of wind and flash floods this afternoon. I was working really hard today trying to tell you that we weren't going to have a lot of hail reports. The atmosphere not primed for that. Some of the warnings have mentioned hail, but we just haven't seen the reports of that coming in here. But there have been a couple reports that have come in of a flash flood in the vicinity of Copper Gulch. 3 feet of water or so over the road. You don't want to cross that if you come across that. So just be aware of that if you are in that area. And then we've had a lot of wind reports that have been between 60 and 70 miles per hour. In fact, the latest one is just to the north of Pueblo in the Piñon area, where we have had a report of a 68 mile per hour wind gust. A number of these have been on personal weather stations this afternoon, and they've all been up, a lot of them between sort of 65 and 70 miles per hour. So here's that new one that has come in. This is kind of on the northeast side of Pueblo West. Truckton, several weather spotters measuring strong wind gusts, as you can see, outside of Rush. We've had some as well. In Calhan, we had a report of some flash flooding outside of Ellicott to the north of there, where we have had some heavy rain today as well. So let's check that out, the issues where we've had heavy rain today. Some of these spots have had more than 2 inches of rain. This is estimated from radar, but with dual pole radar, these estimations are usually pretty good. And in some spots, we are measuring more than 3 inches of rain. So if you got the heaviest parts of the storms today, and you can see that's happened up across northern El Paso County, southern slopes of Pikes Peak, around Cripple Creek, and then off to the southwest of Pueblo here. And this is the 3-hour estimation, so that lags behind a little bit. The hour calculations happen quicker, and so that's picking up some of the rain that's moved through the Pueblo area. And man, you can see that certainly these storms have been efficient rain producers like we talked about today. So join me in keeping everybody in the Aspen Acres Fire in your prayers, in your thoughts here over the next several hours. Let's see. I got a report here. There are multiple debris flows that are being reported. Let me see if we can get a better idea of where. But we knew this was going to be the case, unfortunately, right? Like that's the problem with fires is you get these double whammies that the ground cannot absorb water like it could prior to the fire. And so you have these downed trees, you have ash, like sometimes the non-permeable layer will be below ash a little bit as the ground kind of bakes. When you have the fire overhead and there are materials that are vaporized and then as the air cools, they become like this waxy substance that coats everything and stops the ground from being able to absorb water. We call those hydrophobic soils. And so that's what we're getting this afternoon. And again, most of the action is up on the north end of the fire. And so we spent a lot of work here at Peaks to Plains Weather, a lot of time getting ready for this, because we can show you all of the drainages, and it's important. So you see the heavy rain. Let me move this through very, very slow here. Look how the heaviest rain that hit the storm. So this is off to the northwest of Beulah here. By about, man, it's probably this stuff off to the north of North Creek as I'm looking at this. Got a couple rounds of some real heavy rain that's in the burn. And all of that flowing down into North Creek. So, looks like the Colorado Department of Transportation may have reported the rescues around San Isabel. There are fire chiefs and emergency managers that are all in a chat and reporting the debris flows with the Weather Service. So, you know, we knew this would happen. But again, we've got all of the names of these things on here for you because all of these are in the burn here. Panther Creek is in it. Yellow Creek is in it. White Creek is in it. Parts of Ditch Creek are in it. The different forks of North Creek are outside of the burn, but those also collected water today and are exacerbating the problem, meeting up with the debris that came from where the fire burned and bringing all of that down toward, I believe, Beulah Valley here, because it's all those drainages I show you meet up with Panther Creek eventually and come down toward Beulah Valley. So, you know, the good news here is Middle Creek did not get the heaviest of the rain. That's what comes right into Beulah from the west here. But man, oh man, what an afternoon. So let me take the radar off here. And so you can see how the terrain plays an important role of this. So we're going to move from north. And I'm going to kind of rotate off to the west here toward where Middle Creek comes into Beulah. And you can see here, that's pretty steep to the west of Beulah. And we can kind of run up North Creek here. We're looking off to the northwest. Here's where Panther Creek comes in and meets it. There's a big curve off to the west here where we start to see a lot of those drainages that I showed you kind of meet up here, all coming out of some pretty steep areas of the burn and then run down North Creek toward Beulah Valley. So they were ready for this. The emergency response was ready for this. Residents were ready for this, and now it has occurred. And it just makes me feel bad for these folks that have dealt with so much and then have to deal with this on top of it. But again, this is a particularly dangerous situation. It is an emergency flash flood warning for this area. We've got other flash flood warnings ongoing across the area, and what has just turned into a busy afternoon. Severe thunderstorm warning wise, we're kind of focusing things out across the eastern plains now, and that'll be the case here through the evening. We're catching storms coming out of the Trinidad area. Walsenburg, we've had some miss us just to the north. And over the next several hours, all of this stuff is going to keep rolling here off to the east. So we'll end this section of severe weather coverage with what is going to happen through the remainder of the evening. So we've got these storms that are starting to shift east of the Front Range. And as we move through the evening, here's what happens with them. They keep rolling off to the east. There might be a couple thunderstorms behind this first wave, nowhere near as strong as what we've already seen. Some of these things over the plains are still going to produce some gusts around 60. They're still going to bring more than an inch of rain, and they may take until early Thursday morning to kind of wind down, and some of us may get a shower or a sprinkle into early Wednesday morning, not Thursday morning. Sorry, days are all running together here. Crew, that's it on Peaks to Plains weather for this go-round. I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to grab some dinner here. If I get any additional information on what is happening down near the burn, nothing additional here. So yeah, just up on North Creek is where that debris flow is flooding, so I can't confirm that now in that drainage like we thought would be the case. Thanks for being with us here on Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together. More coverage if need be as we head through the evening. Keep the people in the Aspen Acres Fire in your thoughts.
Hey, this is John May, General Manager of Petrale Roofing, up on another customer's roof doing a free 21-point inspection. If you'd like us to take a look at your roof, give us a call today, 719-375-8773. We'd be happy to take a look and see the condition of your roof. Petrale Roofing, we're a Diamond certified TAMCO installer, which means we can offer a industry-leading 25-year workmanship warranty to give you peace of mind in the storm. Call Petrale Roofing, 719-375-8773. Schedule your free inspection today.